What if I told you the richest man in history wasn't Elon Musk, wasn't Jeff Bezos, wasn't even a European king, but an African emperor so wealthy his generosity collapsed entire economies? Yeah. And now, Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan are reportedly bringing this story to the big screen, showcasing the rise of the one and only Mansa Musa. Hollywood loves a certain type of epic, right? We got the swords and sandals films. I love them too. We're talking ancient wars, gods, kings, and blood-soaked battlefield. Think Troy, Alexander, and 300, right? Some of the greats. And that's the kind of style that they want to bring to Mansa Musa's story. Because with the right budget, high quality visuals, and well written scripts, this could actually feel epic in scope. Not just loud, but grand, telling the story that we want to hear from Africa. And I'm not going to lie, this is something I've personally been waiting for a long time, to get this kind of swords and sandals storytelling. But in Africa, finally. Many African film industries are still doing this already, to be honest with you, but they're still in development. Budgets are limited, scripts don't always get the time that they deserve, meaning the ambition is there, but the execution isn't always where we want it to be. I know Idris Elba himself is trying to run a production company in Africa, but that's for a different video. So eventually they'll get there. So enter in Michael B. Jordan and Ryan Coogler, creating what isn't just another movie. This is a chance to bring one of history's most significant and overlooked figures to a global audience. So before the movie drops, which, whenever that will be, let's break down who Mansa Musa was and if his story is perfect for this kind of Hollywood epic. So starting off, here's what makes Musa different. He's not a conqueror obsessed with bloodshed. He's not swinging a sword every 10 minutes. He's a strategist, a man who understands something timeless. Power isn't just taken, power is earned. Mansa Musa is widely considered the richest man to have ever lived. Not rich for his time, not rich in theory, so rich that historians can't even properly convert his wealth into modern money. That kind of rich. And yet, his rise to power doesn't look like what Hollywood usually gives us. No bloody civil wars, no dramatic overthrowing, no last-minute duel. Instead, the man was just appointed his role. This is where people get a little nervous about the storyline, because this genre usually promises big battles, lots of blood, and constant chaos. And on paper, he was an appointed ruler, which doesn't sound very thrilling. The emperor before him, Abubakar II, believed there was land beyond the Atlantic Ocean. So confident in that, in fact, that he abdicated the throne to explore it, and he left Musa in charge. So again, doesn't sound very exciting. On top of that, at the time, Musa wasn't really seen as a dominant figure. He was quiet, calculated, observant, all the things he's gonna use come the future. But at the time, he didn't have the confidence of the people who probably wanted the throne for themselves. During this time period, though, Mali controlled massive reserves of two of the medieval world's most valuable commodities. We're talking gold and salt. While others underestimated him, Musa understood something critical. He knew that brute force wasn't necessary when the world already depended on what you had. He didn't invest into military bases, but into centers of learning, universities, libraries. Scholars from around the Islamic world came to learn. While Europe was still struggling through plagues and feudal instability, West Africa was funding education, architecture, and scholarships. But don't get it twisted. This wasn't a peaceful utopia. The history of Mali's empire wasn't just gold, okay? And there was a lot of gold, trust me. It was about succession crises, missing kings, political hostages, and managing a federation of rival kingdoms. This is where I think the movie can shine. So even though Musa was appointed, the throne didn't necessarily come to him easily. He served as the deputy, essentially think of him as the hand of the king, to the previous ruler. And that alone would have triggered tensions. Imagine a king who got bored of absolute power and decided, you know what, I'm going to sail off to the edge of the map. He leaves his deputy in charge with a simple instruction. If I don't come back, you're emperor. It's the ultimate ghosting in history, leaving a massive power vacuum, and we all know what happens when you leave power vacuums behind. So, as you can imagine, Musa did have to use his wealth to buy some loyalty, but he also kept a massive standing army, reportedly 100,000 strong, ready to crush rebellions if necessary. He had to balance the interests of dozens of tribal leaders, military generals, and religious scholars. One wrong move, and he was a dead man. In 1324, Mansa Musa set off on a pilgrimage to Mecca. But this wasn't a quiet religious affair. This was a political flex. This was a geopolitical flex. Despite the lack of internet, everybody knew about this. During Musa's pilgrimage, his general conquered a city known as Gao, the capital of rival Singhai people. To ensure Zhao didn't rebel, Musa took two sons of the Songhai king as guests, hostages to his court. Think Theon Greyjoy. He raised these princes in his own palace, giving them the best education but keeping them as insurance against their father. These two princes would eventually escape years later and found a dynasty that eventually destroyed the Mali Empire. But different story for a different video. Let's talk about the Dryads. The history of Mali was kept by the Dryads, oral historians, storytellers, and advisors to the king. They would make or break a king's reputation. If you angered these people, they would literally erase you from history or turn you into a villain in their story. Musa had to maintain a delicate relationship with these powerful class of knowledge keepers, on top of everything else. So Musa didn't win the game by swinging a sword, far from it. He won by controlling the board, forcing the world to recognize him. If this movie lands the way it should, it won't just be a film, it's going to be a cultural phenomenon. And hopefully be a gateway to more movies like this. Because there are a lot of stories to be told in Africa. I'm surprised they're even starting with this one per se. But hell, I'm here for it. And that's it for the video. If you enjoyed, you'll love the next one coming up. But until then, like, comment, subscribe, and share this out.